everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Christy here to do the monthly forecast for the sign of Sagittarius. This is for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And this is for the whole month of March 2018. I will be using the Good Tarot deck for your main 10-card spread today, and then we'll be doing a 5-card spread using the Romance Angels for your love reading today or creative project readings, and then as always drawing from the other oracle decks for additional messages for you this month. So as I mentioned, we'll be using quite an elaborate spread today for you, 10 cards going into a little bit of detail because it is a monthly reading. And then I look forward to seeing you again for your mid-month checkup, and I hope everything is going well for you, all my Sagittarians. Thank you so much for your support, your encouragement, and your sweet, sweet patience. So thank you so much. So what does Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising need to know for the month of March 2018? What does Sagittarius need to know for the month of March 2018? I am going to be pulling from the center of the deck for you in just a moment with the tarot, but I'll probably keep 2 jumper cards for my oracle decks, time permitting. So there is something that jumped out, the moon. We'll see if that shows back up in your reading once we pull your cards, but the moon is really about intuition, maybe a little bit of illusion, maybe feeling disillusioned, maybe feeling like there's something undercover. It could be emotions coming to surface as well. All right, Sagittarius, let's split the deck for you and get your cards drawn and get into your reading. I'm excited for you. Oops. And here we are. Ooh, Major Arcana for your central card. Look at that, 2 Major Arcana already, the Lovers and the Magician for you. So a lot of heat in that area for you. Anytime we're looking at Major Arcana, 3 Arcanas already. 4, holy smokes, Sagittarius, what is going on with you? Lots of personal power, that's for darn sure, it looks like already. Lots of emotional depth available to you. Wowzers. Just beautiful. Look at all your Major Arcana. Absolutely gorgeous. In the bottom of the deck, we have the Empress. Your spread is by and large Major Arcana. Basically what we're looking at is extremely potent energy. We're not looking necessarily at players, aka actors in your life this month. Of course, you will be dealing with other people, but this is really about energy that's either being emitted from you or available to you, or energy that you're working in and around, or that you're asked to be aware of here. So general energy for your spread today is the Empress. Of course, we're looking at something that is basically coming to fruition. So the Empress in traditional, the Rider-Waite, for example, is a pregnant lady. It's someone who is about to give birth. Obviously, in the imagery, it would be to a child, but of course, you know, your pet project could be your child. You could even be welcoming a new animal in the home, for example, through an adoption, or a human child, obviously. So any adoption could be occurring for you, or you could be experiencing that in your surroundings for the month of March. But a great deal of emotional, physical, psychological, and I would even say like sexual stability here. You're feeling really composed, like you're really in and about yourself right now. You're really confident and comfortable about yourself right now, about what you can give, about your boundaries, about what you can offer, and people kind of know where they stand with you too, which is a really beautiful state of mind to be in as well. So this is where I'm drawing that information from. Of course, your bottom of the deck energy is going to touch on all the other cards here. And as I said, let's just get a little count of all your Major Arcana. In other words, you know, potent energy here for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 10 cards. So your month this March could be rather explosive in a really beautiful, generous, fulfilling. Might even be surprising to you how fulfilling it is. You might even be overwhelmed to be shaken up by it. But rest assured, this is normal and natural for what you're experiencing right now. And you're very much immersed in the human condition, but it seems to be a very pleasing and expressive. And indeed, if you feel like it's difficult to express your emotions or feelings, for example, Sagittarius, or if you find that these types of elements in your psyche are coming to the fore this month, or you've been pushing them down, it might be a nice time in March 2018, for example, to examine these, because you're in a really safe, a really stable position to do this. So let's get into why I would be saying what I'm saying about your spread today, beginning with the card representing you. This is the Lovers card. The original tarot has the man and the woman with an angel sort of supporting their union. So what's unique here is that, first of all, I'm going to begin by suggesting that there could be a Gemini involved in your arena, in your environment this month, that you're working with very closely, that you could have to make a decision with or around or for. Or you could have Gemini influencing your own chart, the first 5 planets, for example, including your rising. If that's the case, it just could be that there's a very important decision and you might be under the gun to make it, for example, and it's going to be between one or the other. It's not going to be, for example, the 7 of Cups. It's not like you have a lot to choose from. It's like, well, you have to make a decision. You kind of have to put your foot down here. But either way, if it's done with love, right, if it's done under the auspices of the lovers and something that's sweet and kind and beautiful, it's going to work out for both parties, even if the answer is no. It's that answer, even if it's no, it could be yes for you, depending on your situation. Of course, these are always general readings, so apply accordingly. It's like, even if the answer is no, for example, it's going to work out for the best for both parties. So it's not like, if that's the case and you're holding back from making a decision, for example, and you're worried about it impacting someone else negatively, if you do it with love, and even if you express, why you're making this decision, for example, I think it'll pan out for the best for all parties involved. Of course, the other element of the Lovers card is that there's a great deal of sensuality here, shared sensuality, shared camaraderie. There could be a soulmate situation here for you as well. And of course, crossing this is the situation. This month is the Magician. Again, I'm going to suggest that this is an energy that is available to you. We don't have really any court cards. I guess we have the Page here. I mean, there's no knights, kings, or queens rather. So I'm going to suggest that this isn't a person that you're going to be, subjecting to your magic, or who's going to be bringing magic in. This is just what's available to you. And the Magician really is the master of their surroundings and the master of their outcomes. And for a lot of people, this energy can turn them off, even though it's like, oh, power, personal power, or empowerment. Who wouldn't like that? Well, a lot of people are actually turned off by it, Sagittarius, because it means a great deal of personal responsibility. So recall here with the Magician, yes, you do have everything at your fingertips, for example. All your questions will be answered. You are empowered, but remember here, it's sort of like the Spider-Man adage, right? With great power comes responsibility. So it could be that even through the Magician here, you have the ability to rearrange something for yourself and at least one other person here. And again, as a general reading, this doesn't have to be a love affair. This can be a business venture. This can be travel, creative projects, however you're applying this. It's that you have these talents and you have everything you need. It's almost like you just have to be willing to make that decision and sort of go with it wherever it takes you. Even if it means, closing the door on another theme right now for the time being. It's not like you have to push it aside altogether. But whatever the decision is, a great deal of power is coming with it. So, just be aware of that and do it with love. Make sure that you are interested in the outcome being from the highest expression, from the highest vibration. And I think things will work out for you swimmingly. It looks like it certainly will be here for you, because we have as the foundation the transformation card. In the Rider-Waite, this would be considered the death card, for example. And the death is really just saying, one door closes, another opens. Yes, that's wonderful. But the closure is permanent, is the thing here, right? It's not like a Five of Cups, for example. It's not like, it's disappointment and maybe you can refigure and that type of thing. It's like something has distinctly changed permanently here. And this is what's causing this. So it could be very deep emotional or even psychological, even spiritual growth for you. If not, again, as a general reading, it could be economic. And if that's the case, congratulations on all fronts, right? No matter if it's economic, spiritual, anything in between. It's really nice to walk away from what isn't working for you anymore, to close the door on that permanently. It's almost like, how do we self-actualize if we don't take these types of risks and don't accept the responsibility, right, that comes with making decisions that are going to assist you and your loved ones and the people whom share your environment. So I think it's a lovely outcome that's going to come from this. It's really just sort of letting go of the old, let it go. I don't even see, for example, there's no clinging here, so that's really nice as well. I think you feel pretty satisfied with a situation being over in order to move ahead with this type of self-empowerment here. In your recent past, we have the Hierophant, just a gorgeous card. I really hope you can see the details. The artwork is stunning in this deck. The Hierophant is really it's a type of leader. It's a little bit different than the High Priest or the High Priestess, for example, which is with regard to emotional fulfillment, like the mastery of emotions, for example, and relationships. The Hierophant is really speaking to this sense of being the teacher. It's almost like you're no longer a student of something. You're happy to keep learning. Again, here with the sense of responsibility, I don't think you're closing the door on learning, but I think that you've entered a space here maybe recently where you've really come out on top. Like you've got your masters of something and people are definitely looking up to you for this. You could even become a teacher. You could be involved in the teaching arts. Somebody could be asking you to teach them something here. So you have a great deal of knowledge that is you are capable and willing, hopefully, to share with others, because other people definitely will be asking for you to share this or looking up to you at this time. So this is really lovely to see for you. It's like you've entered a whole new phase of your life, or at least in one area of your life, like a whole new chapter has begun for you, and it's just filled with excitement and filled with, again, self-empowerment and making, long-term, maybe even like higher up decisions. You could be a CEO, you could be a vice something here, definitely a master or an expert of something here, and people are awaiting your decision. So for your short-term outlook, don't blame you. The Ten of Earth or the Ten of Pentacles is really feeling really settled. It's really, of course, Pentacles speaks to the physical body, the physical reality, the five senses type thing. So in terms of your short-term outlook, absolutely. I mean, sky's the limit for you, Sagittarius. It's not surprising. Your ruling planet is Jupiter. I mean, it's the planet of optimism, so none of this is really shocking to me. And I've been reading for you now for almost a year, and this is pretty consistent for you. Just a lot of beauty, minor upsets here and there, but just like overall self-mastery and keeping a sense of humor, keeping that sensuality in your life. So the Ten of Earth is really expressing that. It's saying, I know exactly what I want, and I know exactly how to bring it into my life, and I have everything I need to do it, and I feel supported, and I trust myself to make those right decisions, etc. And just beautiful to see this for you. Really lovely. Really happy home. Really understanding what hard work means as well. It's not just a concept. It's the doing. It's the commitment, right? So great deal of personal strength here. And again, I think that your closest relationships will benefit from this this short-term outlook for you. Here we have, it states the present state of the problem, but it could be just for the time being something that is just a little bit uncomfortable, right? With the Page of Water, present state of the problem, you know, emotions being expressed to you, emotional development, being able to speak in a different language, in an emotional or in a feeling way here. Again, if this feels uncomfortable, it's because it's maybe a little bit new to you. The Page of Water, though, also could be saying that, you know, maybe it's time to develop this part of yourself. It looks like all these other aspects of your life are being taken care of here, or you're coming out on top. And there just could be some sort of level of maybe it's time to get in touch with this, or if not in touch, more comfortable with this. Maybe learning a unique or a different or a new angle or avenue of love expression. Again, this doesn't have to be romance, it can be, but anytime we're using, you know, love in all our conversations and all of our in all of our communications, it's almost like, well, how do I inject more of this emotional stability and this understanding and compassion into this? And I think this is just going to feel like a little bit, and it's curious too. I was going to say a fish out of water, which is really what the imagery is. But in the Rider-Waite traditional tarot, for example, it's a young person holding a cup with the Babel fish sort of coming out. So it's really just, you know, learning love languages, learning how to express yourself in a really confident, but also in a sensitive way, and but also in a potent way. Like you're understood, but you mean what you say, but you can say it, you know, compassionately and sensitive, while still telling the truth about it. So it's really getting the beginning of getting to the root of your sensual and your feeling and your emotional self here. So it might look like a little bit of a problem. It might look like it's a little bit out of place here, but I don't think it is. I think it's just sort of like it's next level for you. So this is actually really positive to have here. So don't let that turn you off if there's some concern around expressing emotions. I think this, you know, maybe just go slow. You're a master somewhere else, at least one other area of your life. So if you have to be a novice here for the time being, or in a particular situation here, you know, just let it be. You're allowed to be a novice if that's the case, and, you know, don't stress about it. All right, so if for our outside influences is the Hermit, this is a curious card to have for an outside versus an inside influence, for example. But at the same time, it could be, so the Hermit, for example, on its own is suggesting, you know, lessons learned inward, going within, taking a time out, removing oneself from a situation or from another party here. But in terms of the outside influences, it could just mean something as simple as meditation or taking some time to yourself here. That has to do with an external practice. So, I mean, listen, and I would even say meditation isn't limited to sitting still. For example, you can meditate by planting in the garden, right? You can meditate by patting a cat or a dog. Like, it doesn't have to be this, you know, this stillness, this stoic stillness. It can be that your outside influence here with the Hermit is really just maybe examining how you feel in these quiet environments where you're not necessarily alone or in lotus position type thing, but you're communicating in a different way, right? You're meditating and you're just by being still or letting your thoughts go and rush by like clouds, and, you know, patting your dog or patting your cat. It's like, it's the difference between ease and unease, right? And because this isn't in your internal influence, as in this is coming from within where you're going to want to be silent and necessarily, this is about how you can achieve this in your external world. So maybe pay attention to the natural world right now. If you have any animals in your life, maybe without, say, projection of tonation or without using words, for example. You know, when you caress them or when you engage with them or interact with them, sans human language, like what does that feel like, right? So it could be a really interesting way to begin learning to express this sense of compassion through a different side of yourself, through touch, through, the way you look, the way these beings move. And it doesn't have to be an animal, it can be another person as well. Maybe picking up on people's body language, for example. So it's really just sort of using this novice influence of how do I feel when, or when this person or when this person talks to me or this thing happens, how do I feel? And just really examining that. You don't have to take yourself to task for it, but maybe just play with it and see what happens. Because as I said, there's a great deal of mastery over everything else. Here with your 3 of Cups or 3 of Water is your internal influences. This is really a celebration. You're just feeling on top of the world, and you can tell, right? You feel really positive about things. Your short-term outlook is really lovely. There is a slight aggravation for your long-term outlook, but again, this is the Swords, so it's something that's you're sort of thinking about, maybe overthinking. It's nothing that's actually happening. So just a little caveat to cease any overthinking here, because it's going to steal from the beauty. Or if there's any excessive overthinking about problems or things that could go wrong, for example, it's just putting your attention elsewhere and everything will smooth itself out. But in terms of internal influences, really feeling as though you are your own best friend, you can trust yourself, you can rely on yourself, and there could be a longing for a reunion with individuals who are important in your life as well. I'm not going to suggest that this is a lover situation, though. This is probably like a celebration, like a party, right? So like a peer group or your friends, etc. So it might be a nice time to get in touch with friends as well, or they may be getting in touch with you, and it may make you feel fantastic to hear from them or to be in touch with them again, and you'll understand, oh yeah, like this is part of feeling, and it's not all about appropriate, or I have to do it, or I'm a master of something and this is how I feel about it. It's almost like the Cups or the water element is really about like what rushes in, what we don't expect, or what we need to either learn from or get a little bit of control over. So because there's only 2 of them here in this sort of beginner, and then there's the 3 here, there's not an overwhelming level of emotions or over emotions for you, though, all the same. Here with Hopes and Fears is the Fool. This is really just taking action or being interested in a cause or a long-term project that you really can't see the end to, or there's no guarantee it's going to work out, whatever it is, but you do it anyway. And again, with this sense of mastery, with this sense of magic, this, real decision between this and that, definitely between one or the other here, and a door being closed or having been closed here sort of permanently. It's almost like this is pretty exciting energy in my view. And I would say this is more of a hope card than a fear card in this position. The Fool is actually quite lovely as well, because it means that you're able to let go of everything that didn't work. So even if you're going into a new project or you're about to start something new or anything in between, no matter what happened previously, whether this quote unquote worked out for you or didn't, there's almost like this sense of amnesia about it. It's like this new venture is its own thing, and that's actually the best way to go about it, Sagittarius. So this is actually a beautiful card to have here. It's really it's the first step on a journey to somewhere that you can calculate as best you can an outcome or a long-term vision, but the excitement could be in not having you know what you want at the end of it. It's almost like you don't know exactly how it's going to pan out, but you do it anyway. And there's a definitive excitement that comes with that. So this is actually a really cool card. And as I mentioned a moment ago with the 7 of Swords here, for your long-term outcome, just keep those negative thoughts at bay. The 7 of Swords is really just saying that there could be some trickery, but again, this is going on within your head. Anytime we're looking at air or swords, we're looking at the intellect and at the mind at work, as opposed to the physical world, or as opposed to the emotional world. So it's just about long-term outcome. Don't upset yourself, and keep your eye on the prize. Remember how extremely fortunate you are, and use your imagination for the highest good here, Sagittarius. Don't let in any dark thoughts, or if you need to do that, or if you're comfortable doing that, just make sure that it's there's an equilibrium between that and your possibilities, right? Because these are at odds. The Fool is saying, yes, I'll do it, no matter if I'm guaranteed exactly what I expect or not. I'm going to do it because it's the right thing to do, and blah, blah, blah. And then this is saying, but what about this? But what about that, right? So it's just kind of like, just tame that voice a little bit here. And you've been so successful so far, and you're confident, you're competent. So I believe very strongly that you're going to be able to quell those long-term types of intrusive thoughts here. So let's get your advice cards from the, what are we using here? Our romance angels. I hope that you enjoy these. We're just looking for 5 advice cards for Sagittarius. What does Sagittarius need to know for the month of March 2018? And there's 3. We just need 2 more for you. So this is for couples, singles, or if you're neither of those groups, this is for anyone involved in creative projects, and I'll read them thusly. Let's get that one. Ooh, passion, not surprised. And it's strange here too, because there's nothing that's like outwardly saying, oh, Sagittarius, look at all the rods or wands, or fire, as it were, in this deck in your chart. There's nothing saying that, but there is just like incredibly, you almost don't need the wands. There's such potent energy here. So as you are children, your love life is being affected by children. So if you are coupled and you do have children, this is going to apply for the month for you, not necessarily negatively. If you're singling and mingling, it could be that you're meeting someone who has children, who is interested in having children, or you yourself do, and they are being invited into your family. And of course, for creative projects, this would be interesting to look at the childlike part of yourself, or even what you used to like when you were a child, especially in the creative world or in the world of expression. What made you happy? What made you content? What were you doing as a child for art projects? And if you're looking at doing healing work, for example, which is the whole point of what I do, you might be interested in doing similar projects that you did as a child, and maybe doing some healing growth through that. Are you on the correct path? Calling in your soulmate. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. So for couples, this is really just saying you're getting closer. Those communications, you're able to see the magic, see things for what they are, be very blessed. People who are single, this is really getting in touch with who you are, and not wearing any mask here, and just being true to what it is that you want, and asking for help, being guided, listening to that intuition, listening to that voice that's leading you to certain environments that will hopefully introduce you to the partner that you desire. And of course, for creative projects here, this is really all about really keeping your eye on the prize, right? Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations. This is a lot of mental work. And your soulmate in a creative environment is going to say, I would even say it's you, right? It's you becoming, oh, I'm so sorry, that jumped. It's you becoming more of who you are, and more comfortable and confident with who you are. Give your relationship a chance is the main obstacle. If you're having any concerns, couples or singles, this month about meeting someone, about getting close to someone, have a conversation. Trust in your partner. Trust that you know the right things to say and that they're willing to talk to you about it. And for creative projects here, keep trying. If you need a break from something, do it, but definitely keep trying. Here with what is helping you, it's new love. A new person has stirred your romantic feelings. This is beautiful. Even for couples, this is nice. It's like the next level, right? And it could occur after that conversation. And then for creative projects, obviously, this is really just understanding, perhaps through this methodology, what it really is that you want to express. And how can progress be made? Passion. Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. My dear Sagittarius, absolutely. Passion is your calling card. It's a little bit different, say, than Scorpio passion, which is, dark and deep and mysterious. And Sagittarius is like, it's very, very passionate, but it's like energetic and comical and flirty. It's a different kind of passion. So definitely enjoy that, or someone who's bringing that in to your world this month. And then obviously for creative projects, this is beautiful as well to see that you have passion. So in terms of how can progress be made, do it with heart. You got to do it with heart. You got to do it with soul. Otherwise, it's going to feel like a little bit of a lie, right? It's going to feel like you're sort of cheating yourself here. So with your final cards, of course, we have Beaver. This is Builder. Yes, keep building on what you've been building on here. You're definitely on a path that you have a vision for yourself, Sag. So keep going in the direction you're going. This is really working for you and your loved ones. You really feel on top of the world about it. And don't let anyone, including negative thinking, bring you down. Here with blessings, absolutely not surprised to see this at all with the Hierophant, the Empress, even the Fool, right? And of course the Magician. You have everything you need. You only need to take that step, do something that's a little bit risque, with a calculated risk, even if you don't know exactly how it's all going to come together. Take that calculated risk. And then time to go. Here again with the Transformation card or Death card. Yes, it's definitely time to walk away from something, put something in the past, especially if it's a worry or an old concern that might be dogging you here. Put that in the past, whip it into shape. Remember how lucky and fortunate you really are and how far you've really come, and how much you're still developing in the world of emotional communication and tone and body language, etc. So really pleased to see this for you. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks for your mid-month check-in. Until then, take excellent care, Sagittarius. Bye for now.